Welcome to Shree Learning Academy. Our today's topic is understanding and resolving permissions issue. So let's get started. Permissions, privileges and user rights. Let's start with some basic definitions. When we talk about permissions and privileges in computing, we are referring to the actions that a user or system process can perform on a computer system, particularly with regard to specific files, devices like printers or resources. For instance, some users might have permission to read a file, while others have permission to both read and modify that file. Users' rights, on the other hand, are broader in scope. They dictate what a user can do across the operating system. This might include the ability to install or uninstall software, create or delete user accounts, or change the system's time. An easy way to understand this distinction is to think of permissions and privileges as room-specific rules in a house, such as who can enter a particular room, example, a bedroom or kitchen. User rights are more like house-wide rules determining who can change the house locks or install a new appliance. The principle of least privilege. When it comes to assigning permissions and privileges, one key concept is the principle of least privilege. This means that the user should only be granted the minimum level of access necessary to perform their task. If someone only needs to read documents to do their job, they shouldn't have the ability to delete or modify those documents. Balancing task and security can be a bit tricky. Imagine a librarian who needs to catalog books. Giving them the permission to edit book details makes sense, but they probably shouldn't have the ability to delete the entire database. Too much privilege can increase the risk to the organization. Like if an employee unintentionally deletes important data or a malicious party gains access to a high privilege account. On the other hand, too little privilege can hamper an employee's ability to complete their task. Identifying permission issue. One part of managing permissions effectively is identifying permission issues. This involves understanding what permissions a user needs to perform their job and comparing these to the permissions they currently have. For instance, if an employee's job involves editing website content, they should have permissions that allow them to update relevant files, but these permissions may not extend to other areas of the system. Permissions are often associated with a user's account, but they can also be linked with a group membership. For example, in a school environment, a teacher's group might have permission to access and modify online learning resources, whereas a student's group can only read these resources. And if a user is part of both groups, they accumulate the permissions from both. Occasionally, permissions might be explicitly denied, preventing certain actions even if other permissions or group memberships would allow them. For example, a user might belong to a group that generally has delete permissions, but a denial might be in a place to prevent deletion of a particular critical file. Adjusting and troubleshooting permissions. When permission issues arise, they can be adjusted by changing group memberships or altering user-specific permissions. For instance, if a user can't access a file they need for work, they could be added to a group that has the necessary permissions, or the required permissions could be added to their user account. Sometimes, permissions might need to be restricted rather than expanded. This could happen if a user or group has access to resources they shouldn't. In such cases, access can be removed from the specific user or group, or a denial can be added. Troubleshooting permissions can be a bit more complex. It often involves determining why a user has lost access to a resource or is having problems with access. There can be various causes like changes to group memberships or user account permissions or changes to the permissions on the resources themselves. Permissions in larger environments. In larger or more complex environment, permission issues can become quite convoluted. For example, a user might have permissions from several different groups and some of which might conflict with each other. Alternatively, different administrators might grant permissions on the same resources, leading to conflicting permissions. In such cases, it's useful to compare the effective permissions, the actual permissions that apply after considering all permissions and denials on the affected resources with those on similar resources that aren't causing problems. This can help identify inconsistencies or errors in the permission assignments. In conclusion, managing permissions effectively is an important part of system administration and cybersecurity. By understanding the concepts of permissions, privileges, and user rights, and by applying the principle of least privilege, organizations can maintain a balance between enabling employees to do their work and protecting their systems and data. Regular assessments, careful adjustments, and effective troubleshooting can help address permission issues and maintain a secure, functional environment. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do check out the written explanation on our website. And don't forget to take this quiz based on this video. The links are in the description box below. Subscribe to our channel to watch more interesting videos. If you have any doubts, do let us know in the comment section and we'll try our best to solve them for you. For private coaching, do contact us by visiting shreelearningacademy.com or on WhatsApp. See you in the next one.